My name is Audrey, and I was once the overlooked wife, neglected by her husband. He was indifferent to me and our son, yet he lavished affection on his secretary. The dog that saved our son's life died, but he remained cold as ice. When I uncovered the truth and held the divorce papers, I decided to live for myself for once. Now, he can't seem to live without me. This is a story of betrayal, despair, and rebirth. In the pitch-black night sky, after the fireworks faded, hundreds of drones soared above the private yacht, delivering a message of blessing. To the best secretary in the world, Tiffany, happy 1-year anniversary at work. Tiffany captured this beautiful scene in a social media post, with the caption, "To the world's most handsome Mr. Hayes, this is our first year." I couldn't share in their joy at that moment. I only wanted to mourn my golden, lucky. May there be no pain in heaven, and may the starlight illuminate your path forward. 2 minutes later, I received a call from Walter. "Audrey, I'm celebrating, and you are mourning. Are you deliberately trying to spite me?" Tiffany's crying, saying she doesn't deserve anyone's blessings. "I'm giving you 3 minutes. Go apologize to Tiffany right now, or we are getting a divorce." At that moment, I was too drained to argue with anyone. I simply hummed softly and prepared to hang up. Walter seemed to remember something and stopped me. "Audrey, this is my final warning, don't even think about using a single cent of my money to bury that animal." I didn't know when Walter's tone towards me had changed. It had gone from tender and gentle to cold and commanding. But this time, I wasn't listening to anything he said. My attention was entirely on Ethan's voice. Someone asked, "Young Hayes, why isn't your mom here?" Ethan scoffed, "Aunt, is that old woman worthy of coming? At best, she's just a nanny at the Hayes residence." "So, young Hayes, which woman is worthy of coming?" Ethan's voice became cheerful. "Only a beautiful and capable woman, like Aunt deserves to be my mom." I hung up the phone, granting myself some peace. Lucky rested his head on my lap, just as he always did. His body temperature had long since faded, leaving him cold and stiff. "Lucky." I whispered his name. My voice was like a stone dropped into the ocean without the slightest echo. And there would be no more echoes, ever again. Tears that had been held back all day finally burst forth, flooding uncontrollably. Earlier today, Lucky's abdomen suddenly swelled, and his mental state was extremely poor. I rushed him to the nearby animal hospital. The vet diagnosed him with acute kidney failure, requiring emergency surgery, or he wouldn't survive the day. But the nearly $1,800 treatment cost stumped me, as all my cards combined held less than $1,000. 8 years ago, after I gave birth to Ethan, I became a stay-at-home mom. Walter said the company was just starting, and every penny counted, so he strictly limited my spending, giving me a $250 monthly allowance for the entire family's expenses. Later, when I brought up with Walter that the allowance was too little, he looked at me with disdain. "Now that the company's big, you think you can just splurge. I let you live in such a nice house, and you are still not satisfied." I told Lucky to wait for me, then I ran all the way to Walter's office. In the CEO's office, I spoke rapidly. "Lucky is sick and needs emergency surgery, or he won't make it through today. Honey, can you please advance me $1,800? Walter didn't even lift his head, saying coldly, "That old dog should die anyway. Saving it would be a waste of money. Why bother?" Normally, I would have given up asking for money. But not this time. I pleaded, "Walter, please, can I just borrow it? Get out." I was desperate. "Walter, how can you be so heartless?" This remark completely enraged Walter. He dragged me out of the office. "Kneel," he reprimanded. "It's good enough that I support you. I have no obligation to support your dog. It's just an animal, and you expect me to spend money on its medical treatment. Do you think my money grows on trees?" After saying that, he turned to go back into his office. I knelt and lunged, clinging to his leg, and begging, "Walter, please, for Lucky's sake, for saving Ethan's life, please save him." Walter remained unmoved. I continued to plead, "Lucky is like my child. If he dies, I'll never be able to forgive myself." Walter kicked me away. Audrey, I'd actually like to see you racked with guilt for the rest of your life. With that, he quickly returned to his office, and shut the door tight. Time slipped away second by second. I didn't care about anything else, kneeling on the ground, begging the Hayes Company employees, please, someone lend me $1,800. I promise I'll pay you back double. Walter slammed his hand on the desk and roared, I'd like to see who dares. Just then, the vet called. Miss Audrey, Lucky is fading fast. I got up and ran out. By the time I arrived, Lucky's mouth was full of blood. He was just biting his forelegs, probably trying to hold on a little longer. He was waiting for you. Lucky. I stroked his forehead and softly called his name. Lucky whimpered, as if trying to tell me something. A few minutes later, he closed his eyes. I cleaned the blood from his fur, and carried him for his final journey. I just wanted him not to forget the way home. After an unknown amount of time, the yard gate opened. Tiffany walked in, her left arm linked with Walter's, and her right hand holding Ethan's. The three of them looked exactly like a happy family of three, chatting and laughing as they entered the house. Seeing me, Tiffany instinctively pulled her hand back, and took a few steps forward to explain, Sister, my rental contract expired, and I had nowhere to live, so Mr. Hayes brought me back. Her eyes held a challenging smile. I ignored her. After a moment of silence, Walter approached with a gloomy expression and kicked Lucky's stomach. I instinctively spread my arms, trying to shield Lucky. Walter yanked my hair and questioned, Audrey, what's wrong with you? This animal is completely dead, and you are still bringing it into the house. Are you just determined to see me miserable? Business people tend to be somewhat superstitious, and Walter was particularly devout. Ignoring the sharp pain in my scalp, I pleaded, Honey, can we keep Lucky for just one more night? I'll take him away first thing tomorrow morning. Lucky was a gift Walter gave me when we first got married. Back then, he had just started his company, working long hours, and was worried I'd be bored at home. So he specifically chose a gentle golden to keep me company. I had thought Walter wouldn't want to spend money to bury Lucky, but that he would at least have some lingering affection. After all, he had once considered Lucky family, playing with him and caring for him when he was sick. Walter's gaze was fierce, and he pointed to the door, ordering, Get that dead dog out of here right now. Don't be an eyesore. I didn't dare defy him, after all, he had countless ways to get rid of Lucky. The moment I carried Lucky out the door, Ethan quickly shut it. Ah, the disgusting smell of that dead dog. It's suffocating me. Dad, let's buy a new house. Let's not live with her anymore. Can we live with Aunt instead? Walter chuckled, asking teasingly, What? Do you want my beautiful and capable secretary to be your nanny? Dad, what are you saying? Can Tiffany be my mom, then? Tiffany playfully stomped her foot. Oh, you two are ganging up on me. I'm not talking to you anymore. The courtyard filled with laughter, making me recall the past. I used to swing Ethan in the yard, while Lucky chased butterflies. Daddy, higher, higher. All right, Daddy will push you and Mommy up to the moon to catch the jade. Ha 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 ha, off to catch little rabbits. The laughter faded, and we, too, drifted further apart. After burying Lucky, I sent a WhatsApp message to a former colleague. Becca, could you help me draft some divorce papers? When I returned the next day, it was already noon. Tiffany and Ethan were playing a game on the sofa. Walter, who he typically avoids cooking, was busy in the kitchen. Several dishes were already set on the table, along with 3 sets of chopsticks. Soon after, Walter carried a bowl of soup, calling out as he walked, Big Beauty and Little Handsome, wash your hands and come eat. Hurry up and taste the work of a gourmet chef. Dad, we are focusing our firepower on pushing the tower. We'll be right there. Mr. Hayes, requesting backup. The minions are overwhelming me. Walter smiled indulgently, wiped his hands twice on his apron, sat beside her, and took the phone to play. This heartwarming scene even moved me, an outsider looking in. Sister, you are back. Tiffany paused for a second, then tilted her head, assuming a victorious pose. Ethan immediately covered his nose. Damn, no wonder I smelled a dead dog. It's her. I ignored them, changed into my slippers, and walked further inside. Walter didn't stop what he was doing and said without looking up, "I didn't cook anything for you." The implication was that he wanted me to understand and leave quickly. "I am not hungry, you just eat." I went straight back to the bedroom. The messy duvet on the bed, and the lace lingerie hidden under a pillow, all hinted at the intense battle of the previous night on the vanity. There was also a limited edition Hermes bag that didn't belong to me. I had seen it in Tiffany's social media post yesterday. She had shared a photo with the bag, captioned with emojis, "Today's gift." My nails dug into my flesh. This one bag alone would have been enough to save Lucky 100 times over. I should have realized long ago that Walter was never the stingy miser others claimed him to be. He could lavish millions to celebrate Tiffany's 1-year anniversary at work, showering her with luxury bags and jewelry. He just wasn't willing to spend it on me. The wife who stood by him through hardships only deserved to be called lowly. The storm in my heart had passed, leaving only stagnant water. I quickly packed my personal belongings and dragged my suitcase out of the bedroom. This home, I might as well not want it. Seeing me come out, Tiffany greeted me like the lady of the house. "Sister, I'm sorry we started eating without you. The restroom is over there. Go wash your hands, and I'll get you a set of chopsticks." Before I could speak, Ethan interrupted, "Aunt, Dad just said he didn't cook anything for her." Seeing I said nothing, he shouted at me anxiously, "Hey, don't come over and eat. If you sit at the table, I won't eat." I frowned, but my voice remained calm. "Don't worry, I won't eat. From now on, I won't eat any of your family's meals." Walter finally put down his chopsticks. "Audrey, your dog died. Why are you taking it out on other people? You didn't come home last night. How are we supposed to know you'd be back by noon? We not mind readers. It is perfectly natural that we didn't prepare food for you." Tiffany played the peacemaker. "Mr. Hayes, say less. Sister didn't mean it last night." Walter sighed. "Audrey, you still haven't apologized for last night." Ethan chimed in, "Exactly. Apologize now. The two people I once cared about most had already wounded me all over, and the scars had now become my armor." I said, enunciating each word, "I did nothing wrong, so I won't apologize." With that, I pushed my suitcase and started to walk forward. Walter, who couldn't stand it when I defied him, blocked my path. "If you don't apologize today, don't even think about stepping out of this house." I gritted my teeth, intending to push past him. Tiffany intentionally bumped into me and fell to the ground. "Ah, that hurts so much." Ethan quickly went to her, embracing her. "Aunt, where did you fall?" Tiffany pulled a toy robot car from under her, and gasped in pain. "My back, it hurts so much." Ethan was heartbroken. He started hitting and kicking me. "You bad woman, you just can't stand Dad and aren't being close, so you deliberately pushed her." I looked at Ethan, who was acting like he was insane, and felt a sharp pain in my heart. It was as if Ethan was born to collect a debt from me. From the trouble of his birth, I nearly didn't make it off the operating table. I barely clung to half a life and survived. He was like an insatiable monster, constantly demanding attention. He was prone to severe allergies, breaking out in fevers and rashes at the slightest provocation. Even before my abdominal incision had healed, I was carrying him alone, shuttling through hospitals. To improve his constitution, I had to make him avoid certain foods, give him herbal remedies, and take him running. Gradually, his health improved, and he no longer easily developed fevers or allergies. One day, after I refused to let him eat hot dogs from a street vendor, he pointed at me and said, "You bad mom, I hate you." I had thought it was just a child's joke, but I never imagined he truly hated me. At that moment, my love for him seemed to have completely vanished. I grabbed Ethan's swinging hand. "Ethan, I didn't hit her." She clearly threw herself at me. The next second, Tiffany's eyes welled up with tears. "Sister, I understand you're upset, but why take it out on innocent people?" "Mr. Hayes, my waist feels numb. What if my back is broken? What if I'm paralyzed for life?" Walter completely panicked. He shoved me away, and picked up Tiffany, rushing towards the hospital. As for me, I lost my balance when he pushed me, my head slamming hard against the corner of the marble table before I fell heavily to the floor. Soon, everything around me fell completely silent. I couldn't move my entire body and everything went black. It was as if I had fallen into an endless abyss. Cold, despair. Amidst the strong smell of blood, I slowly closed my eyes. Lucky wait for me. Lucky seemed to hear my call, turned, and rushed towards me, then bit my right hand, trying to help me up. After several attempts, it was still no use. He whimpered softly in my ear a few times, then pushed open the door and rushed out. When I opened my eyes again, I was in an unfamiliar place. The strong smell of disinfectant reminded me this was a hospital room. A fair hand waved a few times in front of me. After confirming my eyeballs could move, a sharp voice immediately rang out, "Nurse, nurse, hurry. She's awake, her eyes are open." Several medical staff rushed over. After a thorough examination, they finally said with relief, "All right, the patient is out of danger." I turned to see a doctor giving my former colleague, Rebecca, a long list of medical instructions. Rebecca. I was very surprised to see her there. Rebecca sighed in relief. "Sister, you still remember me? That means your mind is still sharp." Her expression was one of surprise. "You scared me to death. You were unconscious for a day and a night. I thought, well, thankfully, you woke up. How are you here? The hospital called me. They said." She swallowed, then continued after a moment, "The hospital said they called your husband, but he said he was busy and couldn't come. They couldn't find your parents' number either, and I guess I was the last person you talked to, so they contacted me. A day earlier, I had seen Lucky rush out the door. At that moment, I had only one belief: I had to find Lucky. I couldn't let him wander alone in this world. So, I crawled out of the yard gate, following Lucky's footsteps, and was found by a passing neighbor. She quickly called 911, had me sent to the hospital, and left Walter's phone number. The nurse immediately called Walter, but thought it was a scam by me. I don't know who you are to Audrey, but please tell her she's trying to scam me. I believe the monthly allowance I give her is already more than enough. If she wants to buy a golden, tell her to be frugal, and save up for it." After saying that, Walter hung up and wouldn't answer his phone, no matter how many times they called afterward. However, the situation was critical. A head scan showed I had intracranial bleeding. If I didn't have emergency surgery, I might not make it through the night. Fortunately, someone unlocked my phone, found my parents' number in my contacts, but it was a disconnected line. Yes, a car accident 3 years ago took them. After that, the only person I could rely on was Walter. But he was no good man. The nurse had no choice but to call Rebecca, the last person I had contacted. Although we hadn't seen each other for many years, I had trained her myself. We were almost like mentor and apprentice. When she received the call, she rushed over, leaving her work to stay by my side. "Thank you, Rebecca." A stream of hot tears flowed from the corners of my eyes, dampening the pillow. "Sister, since fate allowed you to survive, we must make those who humiliated and bullied you pay the price." In an instant, my gaze became resolute. My phone ringing broke the silence. It was Walter. "Where are you now?" Rebecca snatched the phone, saying testily, "Don't you know where she is? Didn't you see all the calls we made to you? Walter, you are the one who pushed her. Get over here and pay the medical bills." Rebecca hung up after saying that, then frowned, and said, "Sister, I've already drafted the divorce papers for you. If he doesn't agree, I'll make sure this divorce lawsuit satisfies you. When you left the law firm, we were all quite sad about it. I was once the best lawyer at the law firm, someone who should have been dominating the courtroom. But the arrival of a child ruined my entire future." As I reminisced about the past, Walter walked into the hospital room, with Ethan following behind him. Walter's face wasn't good. "Audrey, for a small scratch, you run to a big hospital. Do you think money is easy to come by?" "Dad, it seems the allowance you give her is still too high," Ethan chimed in. Rebecca rolled her eyes and slapped a stack of examination reports onto Walter's face. "You look like a decent person, but it turns out you are just a cheapskate. You pushed sister, didn't you? Should I sue you for infidelity first, or domestic abuse?" Walter's face turned ashen. He was the esteemed Mr. Hayes, a prominent entrepreneur, an outstanding young man. It had been years since he had endured such disrespect. But in front of outsiders, he could still maintain a shred of composure. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Who are you? My family affairs are none of an outsider's business." My voice was cold. "She's not an outsider. She's my divorce lawyer, Rebecca." "Audrey, you want a divorce?" Walter's eyes were filled with astonishment. He probably never imagined that the word divorce would come from the mouth of the woman he had molded into complete obedience. He was completely enraged. "Audrey, if you hadn't taken your anger out on Tiffany yesterday, why would I have pushed you? Do you dare say you bear no responsibility for this? I had been through hell and back, and in this life, I would live for myself." I scoffed and challenged, "Which I saw me push her. Or did she just fool herself? Check the security cameras." Walter was an entrepreneur who had climbed his way up from the bottom. The richer he got, the less secure he felt. Fearing thieves might break in and steal his property, the Hayes residence was filled with security cameras. I opened the security camera app on my phone, and dragged the timeline to the moment the incident occurred. On screen, Tiffany was originally at least an arm's length away from me. As I forcefully tried to move past, she took 2 steps forward, bumped into me, and then intentionally fell backward. After falling to the ground, she slipped the pre-prepared toy car under herself. The footage continued. After Walter pushed me to the ground, blood gushed from my forehead. I struggled for a while, crawling forward with difficulty. Behind me, vivid red bloodstains on the white tiles were especially jarring. Faced with the evidence, Walter was dumbfounded. Ethan, who had been beside him, had kept his lips pressed together silently ever since he heard me mention divorce. At that moment, he even averted his gaze, not daring to meet my eyes. Hasty footsteps approached from outside the door. Before she entered, her voice preceded her. "Mr. Hayes, Tilda." Tiffany clutched her waist and hobbled in. "Oh, Mr. Hayes." Tiffany pretended to be in great pain, her face contorted. Walter's body didn't move as he asked indifferently, "Why did you come up here? I waited in the car for ages and didn't see you two come down. I was worried sister was seriously hurt, so I came up to see if there was anything I could do to help." Rebecca, a seasoned gold medal divorce lawyer, recognized her identity at a glance. She clicked her tongue and scoffed, "This little mistress sure keeps a close eye on people. You, how dare you speak like that? Mr. Hayes and I are completely innocent. Apologize to me right now, or I line sue you for defamation." A mistress being so arrogant I really used to spoil her. I was about to pull up the security camera footage to shut her up. I scrolled down and saw footage of Tiffany appearing at my doorstep on the morning Lucky died. My eyelids twitched, and a bad feeling compelled me to click on the video. In the video, Tiffany was looking left and right at my doorstep. After seemingly confirming no one was around, she pulled something shaped like a sausage from her bag and tossed it into the yard. Lucky absolutely loved sausage. He quickly came out, sniffing the scent, and after finding the sausage, devoured it in a few bites. By the time I returned from taking Ethan to school and grocery shopping, Lucky was already weakly lying by the door. There was a definite connection between the two. That day, my mind was solely focused on borrowing money for Lucky's surgery, and I didn't have time to consider if someone had poisoned him. I was burning with rage, but maintained a facade of calm, as I asked, "Tiffany, where were you on the morning Walter celebrated your anniversary?" After a moment of surprise, Tiffany said smugly, "I went to the office first thing in the morning. Mr. Hayes knows that. Did you go to the office from home or somewhere else?" Now was annoyed. She pointed at me and asked, "Sister, what are you implying? Where else would I go to the office from besides home? If you want to slander me, I don't mind if you two sue me together." "Oh really?" I unlocked my phone screen and showed it to her. "You are lying. You clearly went to the office from my house." After the video finished playing, I demanded, "You are the one who killed Lucky, aren't you?" Tiffany panicked. You are slandering me? What evidence do you have?" Walter, who had been silent on the side, finally spoke. He looked at Tiffany with an extremely aggressive gaze. "Tiffany, tell me the truth. Did you poison Lucky?" I had seen that look before, almost no one could face it without fear. Tiffany held his gaze for a few seconds before breaking down. She kept shaking her head, but then quickly nodded. Mr. Hayes, I just added something to the sausage. I never intended to kill Lucky. Ignoring my physical discomfort, I roared, you just added something asterisk. Ha, you are really good at defending yourself. If you are in a bad mood, do you also add something to people's food? I deliberately said that for Walter and Ethan to hear. Walter loved money, but he cherished his life even more. If there were an elixir of life, he would probably sell his wife and son to buy it. Walter's face turned ashen. Tiffany finally realized the seriousness of the situation. She was terrified and flustered, her voice trembling slightly. Mr. Hayes, I had my reasons. Walter smiled sinisterly. I'd like to hear what reasons you could possibly have. Tiffany, losing some control, pointed at me. It is all your fault, Mr. Hayes doesn't love you at all. Why do you keep clinging to him? That's why I resorted to this. I just wanted to poison that old dog to see if you'd finally make a scene. Tiffany knew clearly that, as long as I didn't make a fuss, Walter wouldn't divorce me, even if he didn't love me. Not abandoning the wife who stood by him through hardships earned him widespread praise from outsiders. He even used this to boast about the consistent quality of his products. So had to make me create a scene, a huge commotion that would make Walter lose face completely. That way, Walter would definitely divorce me. Only then could she, the mistress, get what she wanted and take my place. And the catalyst for all this was Lucky. If the truth hadn't come out, things might have really developed exactly as she planned. But it just so happened that it was exposed today. Tiffany's back no longer hurt. She grabbed Walter's hand. Mr. Hayes, I did all this because I love you. Walter violently shook her off. So, secretary, if you are unhappy or stop loving me someday, will you send me off with a sausage too, a wicked woman with a heart like a viper? Get out. Tiffany shrieked in terror and stumbled out of the hospital room. I knew Walter had completely given up on Tiffany. Walter had previously spent a lot of energy and money on Tiffany, so he certainly wouldn't let her off easy. In short, he had countless ways to deal with someone. Lucky, the person who harmed you will eventually be punished. The anger suppressed in my heart suddenly eased, and I instantly felt exhausted. My eyes closed, and I felt myself about to collapse. Suddenly, I felt someone support me from behind. Mom, what's wrong? Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, filled with tears as he looked at me. I couldn't even remember the last time I heard him call me Mom. I turned away, avoiding his touch. I looked out the window and said coldly, my lawyer will have the divorce papers drafted in the next couple of days. They'll be sent to Mr. Hayes' office then. Walter's attitude was firm. Audrey, don't even think about divorce. Walter was about to say more, but he was stopped by the medical staff Rebecca had called. Sir, this is a hospital, not a marketplace. Please leave now. The patient is only just recovering, and needs rest. With that, she pushed Walter and Ethan out. I vaguely heard someone softly calling from outside the door, Mom. Love has an expiration date, and so does familial affection. On the day I was discharged, Walter and Ethan were waiting for me at the hospital entrance, holding a bouquet of flowers. Seeing me emerge, Ethan ran over, clutching the flowers. Mom, congratulations on your recovery. I didn't respond or acknowledge him, instead walking around to the side. Walter blocked my path again. Audrey, can we talk? I snapped, no. He grabbed my hand, not letting me leave. I've already dealt with Tiffany. I've recovered all our marital assets, and now the entire industry knows she's a venomous woman. No boss would dare hire her. Her reputation is ruined. I've avenged Lucky. He looked at me with expectant eyes, seemingly wanting a little praise from me. But it didn't go as he wished. I said coldly, let me go. Walter grew anxious. Audrey, there was nothing between Tiffany and me. We were still innocent. Rebecca couldn't listen anymore. She scoffed, Mr. Hayes, you touched your former secretary, you hugged her, and now you are saying you were innocent before. I've seen a lot in my life, but this is the first time I've seen a scumbag so brazen about his infidelity. Walter's face turned green and then pale. I took a few sheets of A4 paper from my bag and handed them to Walter. The divorce papers are drafted. Since you are here, I won't waste postage. Walter didn't even look at them, he just tore them up. Audrey, I am not divorcing you. Ethan couldn't hold back anymore. He hugged my leg and cried, Mom, please don't divorce Dad. I know I was wrong. I apologize to you. Can you forgive me? In the past, whenever Ethan apologized, no matter what he had done to hurt me, I would always forgive him. I always felt that if I gave him enough love and warmth, Ethan would grow towards the sun. But I was wrong. My forgiveness became the sharp knife he used to hurt me. It stabbed into my flesh again and again until it finally killed Ethan's mother. I pushed Ethan away, far from me. He spread his arms, flapping like a newly fledged bird. Mom, hug me, please hug me. I remained unmoved. Audrey, how could you become so heartless? He's your son, a piece of your own flesh and blood. I know you are very angry with us because of Lucky's death, but Lucky is dead, he's dead. What if I go buy you a golden right now? Finally, I showed some emotion. You don't deserve to mention Lucky. What's lost is lost, and it's the same for love and family affection. Look at the divorce papers. If there are no issues, just sign them. Oh, and I didn't ask for custody. Walter took the documents but didn't sign. You know me, I never sign any documents lightly. My legal team needs to review them. I nodded, understanding. That was typical Walter, in any situation, he always prioritized his own interests. Mom, I was wrong, I really was. Ethan knelt on the ground. I helped him up, then turned, and left. I realize that, when someone is completely peeled away from your heart, turning around is incredibly easy. Goodbye, Ethan's mom. The one alive now is Audrey. A few days later, I didn't receive Walter's divorce papers, but I did get a video from him. In the video, Ethan was red and swollen all over, running a high fever, crying and calling for his mom. Immediately after, Walter called. Audrey, Ethan's in a very bad state right now. He really needs you. Ever since Ethan was diagnosed as prone to severe allergies, I paid extra attention to his diet, avoiding all possible allergens. Plus, I had treated him with herbal remedies for several years, and his constitution had become very good. Even if he occasionally ate some allergenic foods, he wouldn't have any reaction. Unless he consumed a massive amount. I demanded, Walter, you knew exactly what he was allergic to, and you let him eat as much as he wanted. Is that how you take care of a child? Walter hastily explained, I didn't give it to him. He snuck it himself. Ethan said that's the only way you'll come back, Mom. Audrey, listen, Ethan's calling for you. Ethan and I can't live without you. Please come home, okay? I was wrong before. Can I fix everything? I didn't care if Walter's displayed vulnerability and pity were genuine or deliberate. But I knew clearly that it was all temporary. He was simply trying to use a child to tie me down. If I went back, he and Ethan would only feel that my efforts were expected, and they'd ignore me even more. One day, when I hysterically demanded to know why they treated me that way, all I'd get was, didn't you willingly come back yourself? My life would never see the light of day again. I said coldly, Walter, the first thing you need to do is take him to see Dr. Cheen, not call me. Don't bother me with these minor issues again. Audrey, will never look back. I hung up the phone. Walter didn't call back. The next day, Walter sent me a revised version of the divorce papers. Audrey, I've added an extra $1.5 million in compensation for you, but I have one condition. Ethan stays with you for 2 days each month. Audrey heard Ethan anxiously ask from the other end of the phone, Dad, did Mom agree? Seeing didn't answer, he choked out, what if Mom doesn't agree? She didn't have time to empathize and directly refused, Walter, I don't need this $1.5 million. The original asset distribution is fine. After saying that, she hung up the phone. When called back, she just hung up directly. Soon, she received a message, Audrey, I'll add another $3 million. I just hope you'll come to see Ethan whenever you have time. She sighed in relief. Even if it were just a pet, after living together for 8 years, it was perfectly reasonable to visit when she had time. All right, I'll see you at the Countess' office. On the day of the divorce, the rain that had fallen for several days finally stopped. The sky was cloudless and bright, bathed in sunshine. She changed into a red dress, put on her long unworn black high heels, and every step she took forward belonged entirely to her. But when she appeared before Walter and his son, they were both stunned. Her exquisite makeup and meticulously cared for hair made her look completely refreshed. Walter looked at Audrey in front of him, and she overlapped with the sunny, red-dressed girl deep in his memory. 10 years ago, Walter had been captivated by Audrey in her red dress, and from then on, he couldn't take his eyes off her. In the beginning, he had cherished this woman as a treasure, wanting to give her the finest gifts in the world. In the quiet, lonely dead of night, he reflected on the past, realizing he didn't know when he had transformed into the man he was today. It was he who had personally lost the most beautiful red rose in the world. Walter was filled with deep regret. So, whenever he passed a flower shop, he would always go in to buy a few bouquets of red roses. Owner, the usual. Walter walked into the flower shop. Mr. Hayes, they are already prepared for you. You truly are the most devoted man to his wife I've ever seen. Walter took the flowers, smiled, and said nothing more. Back home, he unwrapped the packaging, and meticulously placed the red roses, one by one, into vases, arranging them in every room. He fantasized that his red rose had never left. A tear quietly slipped down, landing on a rose petal. Audrey, will you ever come back? Audrey, you are absolutely amazing. How did you manage to handle such a complex merger and acquisition case so masterfully? Master is truly master. Rebecca kept muttering beside her. After the divorce, she returned to her original law firm, starting as an intern attorney. A woman might not have love, but she must have a career. Without the ties of family and children, she was especially driven in her work. You don't even realize how many all-nighters I pulled. She lightly tapped Rebecca's forehead. The senior partner of the law firm emerged from his office, clapping his hands. I have some extremely big news to announce. Rebecca whispered excitedly, Audrey, are they finally making the official announcement? She signaled her to calm down. Effective today, I announce that attorney is promoted to senior at Summit Group. Instantly, thunderous applause erupted. From today on, it was a brand new Audrey.